So, are you ready to hear about my book today?
Sure, I'm down.
Okay. So, I've been reading the Kingdom Wicked series. It's
What is
so
it?
Kingdom of the Wicked. It's so right now I'm on Kingdom of the Cursed, and basically, it's in the 1900s, so it's about these Italian folk witches,
Mhm.
and then you have the Wicked, which actually are the seven deadly sins.
Okay.
And there's
Okay.
some, listen, I have to say, this book is so well written because you don't know things unless the main character knows it, which I fucking love books like that. Okay.
Mhm.
It's like my absolute favorite thing. But you don't know shit. Okay. There's some curse, and it's like there. So basically, the way that the first book ended was like, okay, cool. We found out who killed her sister, but we don't know why. We don't know which sin was influencing him.
Mm.
We don't know what the curse is, what they're really after. And we're not even sure that the reason why all of these other witches were being killed is the actual reason why the witches were being killed. And the second book, it's confirmed that that is not the reason why the witches are being killed. There's so much about the curse that nobody knows.
What the fuck?
There's, instead of there just being like one mother goddess, there's actually three. And the one goddess that they're referring to actually isn't even a goddess. It's another witch that stole the goddess. Like the three different goddesses, like the crone's grimoire, who is like
Oh
one
yeah.
of the three moonface
Uh-huh.
goddesses. And on top of that, so she sold her soul to marry Pride.
Out of all the sins, you're gonna marry Pride,
Well,
bro?
because Pride is considered, so she's, I don't think that, okay, so she's going based off of the Catholic religion where Pride is Lucifer and Lucifer is the devil.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
think that Pride is the devil.
No, Pride wouldn't be the devil. I feel like Wrath would be the devil, if anything.
Right?
Yeah, because
And
it's
so Wrath is the main, like, so he's
Wrath or
the main
Envy,
male
whatever.
character
Yeah.
in the book, and who she like is like her love interest and everything. But when she summoned Wrath, she didn't know that she was summoning Wrath. And so when she summoned him, basically the spell that she used and what she said is that they became betrothed. She didn't know that until like
Hmm.
towards the end of the first book. And then in the second book, it's like she went in thinking that like, oh, I'm still supposed to marry Pride. Their betrothal never got called off, so she's still actually meant to marry Wrath, and this man never told her. And here's the kicker. Here
Okay.
is the kicker. Okay, then this is the thing that pisses me off so much. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so the wicked, which are the seven deadly sins, they're not like they're not able to lie to you, right?
Why? What? Okay.
It's just a thing. They're just not able to lie, but they can tell
Okay.
half truths. And there's certain things that they cannot say because of a curse that was placed on the devil, which then spread out to the rest of his brothers, right? And
Yeah.
so envy and wrath do not get along. And you, where I'm currently at in the second book, envy just revealed something super, super big of basically the reason why him and Wrath go at it so fucking much and why envy is like dead set to like get revenge against Wrath
Uh-huh.
is because Wrath cost him something very big. I think that Wrath is actually the devil. And when he got his like horn stolen and the curse placed on him, and like they all ended up, because Envy has this sculpture of when a angel is being kicked from heaven and having their wings ripped off. I think that that is Wrath. And then Envy stated that when that happened, the rest of the brothers followed. I think that when Wrath got kicked out of heaven, that Envy and the rest of the sins had to follow with,
Mm-hmm.
and Envy had like something or someone in heaven
Mm-hmm.
that he was like in love with or
Which he
really
can no
cared
longer
for
be with
deeply.
now.
Huh?
And so he can no longer be with now.
And that's
because
why
of
he's mad
Wrath.
at Wrath, because he's like, he calls the main female character like pet, and he's like, he calls like her his little pet, and he's like, oh, like I'm gonna get my, basically he's using her for something, and it's not really clear yet, but that's my theory right now.
I mean, that's a pretty decent theory, I feel like. Because
I think
it doesn't make sense that Pride would be, if
so. The sin
anything, I feel
usually
like
linked with Lucifer is pride.
it's so like, yeah, Wrath and like, I feel like it would have been between Wrath and Envy. Because in all honesty, because I feel like Envy, Lucifer would have been envious of the angels that got to stay up rather than being kicked down, or Wrath because he's angry that he got kicked down. But
So
Pride,
they say pride is his sin, because of his pride is why he went and gave Adam, like got Eve to eat the apple and everything. But another thing that I do want to point out that is leading me to believe that Wrath in this series is actually the devil is that Wrath has a tattoo of a serpent, and his biggest thing is allowing people to make their own choices. Which, if you remember from the biblical story, that was one of Lucifer's like biggest things, is allowing people free will. Like he's the reason why we have free will, if you go off of the Bible.
Yeah.
So
Not cutting that shit. No, I look
okay.
raggedy.
So this is
Sorry. Go ahead.
okay. All right. I can do this. I got this.
Go ahead. No, I'm just...
Please bear with us as we do our whole little intro spiel of this is You're Being Too Loud episode 14?
Well, technically 14, but like since 11 was a two-parter, it'd be technically 13. Like
Okay,
13 for the category.
Yeah. Okay, so this
is
is You're Being Too Loud episode 13. If you are on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. That really helps us out. And then if you are on Spotify or Amazon Music, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating and a wonderful review. And cue the intro music. So this first story got taken down on Am I the Asshole? And I actually found it on Am I the Angel? So
no, you're not. No, I'm sorry.
Am I the asshole for laughing when my wife asked me to pay for my stepdaughter's college and asking her to fuck off?
When your stepdaughter, when your wife asked you to pay for your stepdaughter's college
and asking her to fuck off.
You kind of sound like an asshole, but at the same time, it's not your child, so okay. I need
My wife and I have been married for a few years now. I have a stepdaughter, Alice, female 19, before we got married. What? Hold on. My wife and I have been married for a few years now, and I have a stepdaughter, Alice, 19, female, who is okay, that's just worded weird. My wife and I have been married for a few years now, and I have a stepdaughter, Alice, 19, female. Before we got married, I said that I would agree to it only if she agrees to take care of my parents when required. It was a non-negotiable requirement. She said yes, and she's fine with it. I told her that it would be a deal breaker, and she said she can do that. My parents are now old and can't do things on their own. I asked them to come live with me, but my wife refused. She said that she doesn't want a bunch of old people living with us, etc. I reminded her of what she said, upon which she said, I agreed in order to marry you. I don't have to keep my word. That resulted in a really huge argument. It ended with me moving away from the house and staying with my parents in order to look after them before eventually retiring. Now my stepdaughter wants to attend college. My wife asked me to pay for it, and I just laughed. I said, "You cannot take care of my parents and you expect me to take care of her. I am not interested." She got mad and yelled about how I don't want to live in slavery, but that doesn't mean that you can absolve yourself of your duties as a father, etc. I told her that she should not have fulfilled her duties as that she did had not fulfilled her duties as a wife by taking care of my parents, and asked her to fuck off. Am I the asshole?
Okay, wait. So he asked his wife if his parents could move in originally?
So a little more context from OP. It is in one of the comments. The account has been suspended and the post has been deleted.
Uh-huh.
He married her for the sole purpose of her taking care of his parents when they got older for cultural reasons, is what he is claiming. And then she married him basically for money. And
Mhm.
she's a stay-at-home wife.
I'm confused on which cultural reasons though.
You're confused about what?
So the wife has to take care of his parents for
Yes.
cultural reasons?
He's claiming culturally it is what's done.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. But she wanted to marry him so she could have money and pay for her daughter's college.
College. Yeah.
Okay, so why wouldn't if you both are going for something, like, it has to go. You both have to do the work.
What you said you were going to do.
Yeah. Like you can't go back on your word, especially if you agreed to do it. Like if you
I
already agreed for it, bitch, step up. But like I I understand where I don't think he's the asshole if her side wasn't done.
so top comment is there's a pair of yes in it. Sounds like you both of you married for a meal ticket. The next one goes down and says, "So I'm confused as to why you keep saying she will take care of my parents rather than I want her to help me take care of my parents. Like, do you intend to move your parents into the house and have her 100% take care of them? Sounds like you should have hired some help."
I
OP
mean,
mentioned that he does not help around the house at all.
oh wow, that's
So he literally married somebody to be an in-home maid, and like,
but how I want to know how often he's home too. Cause like if he's just at work all the time and like just comes home to sleep and that's it, and that's why or something, then I
he's
mean,
using, okay, so more info. Yes, she does basically everything, but she agreed to take care of them, and it's our culture. Um the culture is Asian.
okay. Okay.
Um, and somebody goes, "I hate it when people use Asian culture as an excuse to be misogynistic. Contemporary interpretation of this culture is for both husband and wife to take care of their own parents. And of course, most spouses will help out with the other side because most people see both sets of parents as their own." That's what I thought, was that basically you each take care of your own parent, but when you guys are married, it's kind of like you both split it.
Yeah.
Is how I always assumed. I mean, I'm not Asian. I don't know the culture, but that's always how I, like, what I gathered from what I had been exposed to. It
Yeah.
never seemed like it was just on the wife.
Nah, I don't remember it ever being like from the few um girls that I've dated or some of the few friends that I had, going over there, I've seen like both sets of parents living with with their parents basically.
Yeah.
With whoever I was with's parents or my friend's parents or whatever.
Yeah,
So
so the
I'd seen
grandparents
that
are
too.
also expected to help with the chores and child raising. A bunch of my cousins have their in laws staying with them, but it works wonderfully because they treat each other with respect. So I think that that's the main issue here, is that there's a lack of respect.
Yeah, for sure there is. I mean, they both knew though that they were marrying for like for a purpose. Like he was marrying so she could help out or you know take care of his parents, while she was marrying for the money. But wait, so
I'm wondering
is
if
she a
it's
part of the
not.
Asian culture, or
Hmm?
is she also a part of their culture,
I
or
don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
because I'm wondering if maybe she didn't realize she was agreeing to that or something, or realize
Well,
what
no,
the
because she
culture
says,
entailed.
I agreed in order to marry you. I don't have to keep my word.
Mm. The fact that I'm sorry, that's that you a snake for saying
I
that
think
though.
that they're both assholes,
They
honestly.
are for sure, but
Like,
like,
he's an asshole for expecting her to do all of the housework,
mhm,
and, like, and he does nothing. And then on adding his parents on top of that, I
yeah,
too would have said no. Fuck that shit. I don't
yeah.
care that I agreed to it.
The thing though is though like if it's only you and your daughter and him there, how much of a mess are you guys making? In all honesty, and your daughter's 19,
Have you
so
seen the mess that Lonnie can make?
yeah. But okay, here's the thing though. That's not all. It's a 19-year-old girl. I know what kind of mess you can make as well. I
I was about to say, you
I'm not
saw my
saying
house.
anything bad about it, but I mean, like, your daughter's 19. She can also help out with the fucking chores too. And if she's going away to college, she's not even gonna be there, so it's just gonna be you in the house too.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
think
what
it's
kind
a
of
thing of
activities.
they're not the same culture, so she also
That's what
wasn't
I'm thinking.
raised around that. I don't know though, because like he doesn't. It's never answered of what her culture is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just gonna be either way. They're both in the wrong. In all, excuse me, in all
I
honesty.
also, I also can't get past the fact where he goes I asked her to fuck off. How do you ask someone,
Can
DJ?
you fuck off?
Can you please fuck off?
Could you politely fuck off?
Oh.
Just
Yeah, so the post
fuck
has
off.
been removed due to the status of the original poster's account. The account is currently shadow banned or suspended.
Mm.
Okay.
Still though, like, yeah, I think they're both the assholes. But I
So
mean, like, are you asking or is your daughter asking for the money too? You know what I
he's
mean?
okay. So here's what I'm genuinely, she's probably asking because she was probably banking on him to pay for her daughter's college.
But I mean, like, if you knew your dad, there's still like FAFSA, there's scholarships and all these other things. Like,
If they make too much,
no,
it's
I know you can't get it. But the thing is though, like at that point, why did you marry him to begin with? Because you could just claim the fact that like y'all aren't y'all aren't together. So if you don't have a job, she can get FAFSA. Or if you had like a tiny job or something that doesn't make enough, she can get a decent amount of money for her school. Especially if she has like scholarships already for a school or been accepted to a school. Like there's programs to work for. You know what I
oh,
mean?
I agree. I don't know. It's none of my business of who.
It's just like at that point, I think you're just hoping your daughter doesn't get in debt too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so this next one was, I found it on Am I the Devil? I was originally on Am I the Asshole?
mhm.
It is, Am I the asshole for yelling at my son for not trusting us? Original thoughts, just based off the title?
I don't know, because I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I did trust my family when I was
I
younger.
didn't.
Well, see, here's the thing. I trusted my mom. I just also lied to her a lot.
I
Like, in
didn't
all
trust my
honesty,
mom.
I trusted mine. Like, I trusted she would get me out of certain situations.
No.
Okay, okay, we have different like we grew up in the same area, but like our parents are drastically different in all honesty.
Drastically different.
Like, do you want to talk about like that one summer, bro?
Nope, we're
Exactly.
good.
Like,
Okay, so am I the asshole for yelling at my son for not trusting us? My 40. Oh, okay.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, what?
I
Did you
got
say
taken back.
48-year-old son?
Huh?
You said
No, this
48-year-old?
is her. So my 44 female son, 16 male, recently got a job after searching for a while. He recently got his first paycheck and talked to us about buying a car. I was supportive and asked him what sort of car he intended to buy. He said he was going to go for the cheapest squawk box he could find. I asked him why he would buy a cheaper car when I and his dad or a bank could loan him the money. He said, I don't trust nobody. I want the car to be completely my own. No banks, no loans, no nothing. I asked why. He said, because if he forgets a loan or something, the bank could take it away. And there's the interest and leases and it's too complicated, so he just wanted to buy it and be done. I said, well, what about us? We won't charge you interest on the loan. He said, yeah, but if you're mad at me or something, you can just take the car away. I said, why would we do that? He said, I don't know, but I don't want to risk it. I just want it to be my car completely. I said, if you're paying for it, why would we take it away? Also, if your cars what if your bad car breaks down? Then what? He said, oh, I got a friend whose dad owns an auto shop. He'll put in a new motor for me since I'm the reason he's passing math for the past 2 years and physics. I was mad at this point since he had planned so well to avoid me and his dad. I said, do you trust us that little? He said, well, yeah, I don't trust anyone. I just want it to be my car, no one else involved, no risk involved. I said, I can't believe you would think that of us and to go to your room. He went up extremely annoyed and hasn't spoken to me since. I know I now think I'm over exaggerating.
Yeah, you kind of are over exaggerating because here's the thing. He is
Also,
thinking it
what
out.
did you do to like lose your son's trust that much?
Here's the thing. I don't think it's actually like, as much as I hate to say it, I feel like it's probably shows that he's watched, because parenting and shows do show a lot of like, oh, like I'll give you this car or I'll give you this thing and then I'll immediately take it away if you start acting up. You know what I mean?
I
Especially
mean, my
shows
parents did that.
nowadays. Huh?
My parents did that to me.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. That's what happened with me too. Like, it happened with my consoles. It happened with my TV. It happened with my phone.
And
All
I
that stuff.
guarantee you
Honestly,
that
it happened with my mattress one time.
it happened with my door.
It never happened with my door. I think the only reason it never happened with my door is because I was the only male.
Can we go back to the mattress?
Nah, let's not go back to the mattress. I slept on a
Can we go
box
back to
spring
the
that night.
mattress?
Huh?
Can we go back to the mattress?
So there was nothing left to take. So, because they had already taken my console, my fucking TV, my phone. And honestly, it was when I was gonna all right. It was when I was dating Kayla.
Okay.
And I'd snuck over for New Year's Eve, basically, and I stayed the night and all that stuff. So I got in big trouble. I'm not gonna go into all the details of all the trouble that I got into, but I got in big trouble. And I didn't I should have been smarter about like covering my tracks, but I wasn't as smart as I know better now. Like what to do, what
You
I could
learn
have
from
done
your
differently.
mistakes.
Yeah. Like that was the last time I ever got caught. So it was whatever.
I never got caught sneaking out.
Oh yeah, no. That's the only time I got caught sneaking out when but I was out for like fucking 24 hours. So
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense.
yeah.
But I mean,
And it was New Year's Eve. So
with this one also, the way that he says that he doesn't trust anybody, his trust has been broken more than once.
it's either his trust has been broken more than once, or I'm thinking like it's possible shows like, seeing how bad like banks are in shows with taking things cars. Or he's watching a lot of TikToks where repo people are taking people's cars because they aren't making payments and all these
Also,
other things.
I don't think that it's bad that he wants something of his
No.
own.
Like he wants to
I
do it
don't
on his
I don't
own,
like
so let him do
how
it.
I
Like
don't like how much the mom's like pressing like, what about us? Why don't you like it's
yeah.
not about you.
I'm wondering if it's an only child, and so she wants the child to kind of depend on them more, so that way they can spoil him more. You know what I mean?
Let me
But like really, he's like really thought about it because like, he's helped out this friend for an entire year with math and physics, and his dad's he works at an auto body shop or
so
whatever. So
no comments from OP, but top comment is you're the asshole.
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 You're the asshole.
Asshole. You're the asshole. And when you sent him to his room for truthfully answering your questions, you proved all of his fears were right.
Yeah.
45 years ago did the same thing because my mother had displayed exactly the type of behavior of trying to control me by taking things she had given me away. So I
Yeah.
never allowed myself to depend on anything she gave me again.
Mhm.
I mean, that's also kind of true. Like you did sit into his room for being honest with you.
Yeah, I that doesn't make any sense to do. Like I don't understand. If you want honesty, don't punish the honesty, you know? Like you're asking for his honest opinion. Don't punish that shit. Well, hold on. Did she actually send him though?
Yeah.
I thought he just went to his room.
No. Um
Yeah, I thought I had heard
How
it
did you
as
don't trust
you
anyone in
said
part,
he
blah blah
went.
blah. I said I can't believe you would think that of us. Go to your room.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought my bad. I don't know. For some reason I thought you had said he had gone to his room or something like that
All right.
and then didn't talk to her for like the rest of the night or something.
So somebody went, son, if I am in debt and you in debt over son, if I am so this is like basically they're saying like the son said this.
Yeah, yeah.
If I am in debt to you over the car, you might take it from me as punishment if you're mad at me. Why would you think something like that of me? Go to your room. I am punishing you for no reason other than I am mad at you. For that alone, you're the asshole. Not to
Yeah.
mention, your son is doing something very smart and buying something outright rather than starting a journey into debt at the age of 16.
Yeah. And then, I mean, literally, he's worked out what would happen if something bad happened to the car already.
Yeah.
So,
It's showing
like,
that he like is thinking ahead. And I don't
yeah.
know why that made her more mad, but she was like, he thought of ways around us. No,
Mhm.
he's trying to be responsible.
Mhm.
You're raising a responsible, like money mindful child.
Yeah, exactly. You should
And
be
you're
like
mad
happy
at
about
him?
that. Like, you shouldn't be upset about it. You should definitely be more like proud of him or happy with how he's like trying to do things. Like, I don't know. It's just definitely the asshole though.
100% the
Yeah.
asshole. You proved him right the moment you said, you don't trust me? Go to
Yeah.
your room.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
You just proved my point.
Mhm.
I disagreed with you and you sent me away.
Yeah. It I don't know.
Okay, this next one is I got it off of Am I the Devil? It was originally on Am I the Asshole? So the title is Am I the Asshole for choosing my wife and young son over my grown daughter?
Wait, what? Okay.
I, 50 male, have a daughter, Chris, female 27, from a previous marriage. I am now married to my wife, female 45, and have a son, 5. Chris and I used to be very close, but as she's gotten older, I feel like we drifted apart. Chris recently got married. She and her now husband decided to do a child free wedding. Chris told me she wanted me to walk her down the aisle. I, of course, agreed. Then, about a month later, probably about 8 months before the wedding. She told me my wife the wedding was going to be she told me and my wife that the wedding was going to be child free, no expectations. I tried reasoning with Chris because finding childcare can be difficult, and she said she gave me enough time to find someone to watch my son for one day, and that I am her dad, and that one day is really important to her. Well, we couldn't find childcare. My wife was going to stay with our son while I went to the wedding. I don't feel comfortable with leaving my wife and son for the whole day, so I decided to not go to the wedding. My ex-wife ended up texting and calling me a huge asshole because Chris was heartbroken on her wedding day. I explained to my ex-wife that I didn't feel comfortable leaving my wife and son alone all day, and that maybe Chris shouldn't have done a child-free wedding. Chris and I haven't talked since then, which was 2 weeks ago. She ignores all of my calls and texts. I feel like maybe I was the asshole. Am I?
Fucking yeah. Like, well, so here's the thing too. Like, I am a little like, don't get me wrong, 5-year-old, yeah, definitely don't want it at the wedding. It is your half like sibling, but I mean, like, really, like the half sibling's not gonna remember anything. Like, and
You
if
had ample time to find childcare.
You said 8 months, right?
8 months.
Yeah. I think anybody could have watched it.
For instance, I'm having a child-free wedding.
Mm-hmm.
One of my bridesmaids has 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
She's fully aware they're not invited to the wedding, and she's fully aware that there will be the only expectations I have are literally 2 children that are in my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Also, on top of that, I hate to be this person. I don't think that I would have invited my little brothers if they were 5 and I am 27.
Yeah, that is a huge difference.
There's no connection there. I have a connection with my brothers because they were born when I was in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
I was able to form that bond.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to form a bond with a 5-year-old.
Or a baby at 22.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, you go hold your baby brother, but I mean, like, are you really gonna form?
I would never listen. I would never talk to my dad again.
Yeah, I don't know why. So even if you didn't find anything to watch your son, like,
what's wrong?
I feel like your wife would be okay and understanding if for one day.
Why didn't the wife push him more to go to the wedding?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, that is such a monumental moment for a girl, especially having her, like, if she's like a typical girl, like, I know I wasn't a typical girl, but ever since like I got engaged and I've been planning my wedding, like, it is such an ample thing for me to have like a first look with my dad, for my dad to walk me down the aisle, like, my, like, a father-daughter dance. Like, when my dad got remarried, we did a father-daughter dance, and my dad started, like, my stepmom, like, she jokes about it now, but I feel like she was a little annoyed. The only time my dad cried at their wedding was when we danced together.
I mean,
but it's very similar to this story where I'm my dad's oldest child. I am 26. I'm my mom's oldest child. Both of my parents got remarried. My dad had more kids. If my dad looked at me and said, I'm not going to your, like, just didn't show up to my wedding, I would never speak to him again. I would be so heartbroken. I don't even know if I could go through with my wedding.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a soul crushing moment of, because here's the other thing is every divorced parent, like every divorced child goes through this whenever their parents start like redating or like starting a new family, of like that in between person. Like, you don't really feel a part of either family, and you kind of feel like a +1 to your own family. It's weird and you gotta work through that shit. I know I still am sometimes. But like for me, this is just such a like you proved every single one of her fears of
Mhm.
you starting a new family true.
Yeah, because you just basically abandoned her entirely.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
You
Like,
abandoned her on one of her most important days ever, and now you're probably never going to meet, if she has kids, you're never going to meet your grandkids.
mm-hmm.
Like, you, and for you to say it's just a day.
Yeah, you would think that, okay, one, that's your only daughter.
Yeah.
You would, I feel like, don't, if I had a daughter, I would hope that I could walk. Like, don't get me wrong. I know like the tradition behind it is supposed to be like, giving away like it's property and all that. I don't agree with all of that. But like I just I think it's just a nice gesture to walk down.
It
Like
is.
I just feel like that's just something that's nice. Like I when it was my mom's wedding, I walked her down when she got remarried. I walked her down. So like yeah. So it it was yeah, it's an interesting experience. It's like I don't know. It's
But it doesn't always have to be like your dad. I know people who
no.
don't have anyone walk them down the aisle.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
when my stepmom and dad got married, I don't think her dad walked her down the aisle. Like I know she didn't do a dance with her dad,
Mhm.
and that was her choice. Like it's up to your discretion, but it seems like this girl really wanted her dad to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's lucky that the only thing that he got was a phone call from his ex-wife,
Mhm.
because
I
that
would
could have
have
been a
blocked
lot
the
fucking
shit out of
worse.
him. I would have fucking like there would have been endless things happening, bruh. Cause he would never nah, like
I don't think
sorry.
like if I was
Never gonna
her, he's like, it's been 2 weeks and she's ignoring me. I think I would have blocked you by now.
100% would have. Like I wouldn't care at all.
I
Like
don't think I would have
first
cared
of all,
either. I think it would have just been block and that's it.
2 weeks, one, she's still on her honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
Two,
Oh,
why the fuck you think she's gonna be over that shit already?
she cried on her wedding day and they weren't happy tears.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, their honeymoon is going to be her literally crying over her dad not. Dude, you just ruined like the next like 3 months of her life.
Yep. Yeah. It's really sad, especially since like I'm sure she did ask him to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah.
And like nowadays, girls don't do that.
No.
Like,
I'm gonna be honest. I never asked my dad.
yeah,
It's a very well known thing that my dad is walking me down the aisle.
yeah. Like it's that's
And she
disappointing.
like he literally said, I don't want to leave my wife and son.
Like,
They will be fine for a
yeah.
day.
It's probably not even a full day, bro. Like you're gone for like what, 8 hours probably?
Yeah, that's how long our wedding is. Is 8 hours.
You already leave for work for 8 hours. Like,
What's the difference?
and you're gone longer because of your drive there. Like, what do you mean?
This dude is like an asshole from another realm.
Dude
So
needs
top comment on this is you're the asshole. No reasonable person can't find childcare in the course of 8 or 9 months.
mhm.
Even people who don't usually use babysitters can find childcare in the course of 8 months if they want to. You
Babies are born in
clearly
9
didn't
months.
want to. And the
Mhm.
scenarios in which your wife and child could not survive without your constant attention for a single day are also vanishingly small. There
Yeah.
is nothing that stopped you from being there for your daughter except your own unwillingness to make it happen. Whether that started um whether that's started in yourself or your spouse is irrelevant. Your daughter asked you to be a part of a once in a lifetime experience and to show your love, and you failed her. You failed her big time.
Mhm.
Somebody else goes, "You're the asshole, not because you picked your wife over your grown daughter, but this reason." And they quote OP, "About a month later, probably around 8 months before the wedding, she told me and my wife that the wedding was going to be child-free, no expectations. You had 8 months to find a suitable babysitter for your son. How dare you try to make this your daughter's fault when you were the one who was irresponsible? This probably wasn't the first time you flaked on her, but I hope the Lord in heavens above that she makes it the last time and cuts you off. You do not deserve to be in her life. She does not deserve the pain you have put her through."
Nope.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. That's like literally you basically had enough time to make another child.
Yeah.
Like, like
Yeah.
bro.
That's the thing that's wild.
What?
You can't have, if they were to have another child, you can't have your child with you while your wife is giving birth.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Exactly.
What would you do?
Where are you dropping off your 5-year-old or 6-year-old at that point or whatever?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you gonna
do? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Dude's fucking, he was on something. Like, because it's one thing to like, you know, I don't even know how to like word what I'm about to say, but like it's one thing if your wife was pregnant and like she was giving birth and you missed the wedding that way.
Literally,
it's another thing to just not show up because of the fact that you couldn't find a babysitter.
Right? So my cousin just gave birth, and so she's gonna have a 1-year-old around the time of our wedding. Her and her husband are coming. Their daughter is in the wedding. I've already told them, listen, your mom's coming, you're coming, your husband's coming, and your daughter's coming. What asshole would I be to say your son can't come?
Yeah.
Oh, family.
Fucked up. Yeah.
So she's breastfeeding on top of that, and she's still going to be breastfeeding at that point. So I said, I don't care. You can bring your son because he's not going to really be moving around that much anyways.
And I mean, like, honestly, like, okay, so I know in this situation, the dad needs to, you know, walk down the aisle. So he's needed for the ceremony and all that. But like, really, in your situation, technically, I feel like somebody could, you know how like with graduations and all that, there can be another room.
Yeah.
So people with children, or if it's overcrowded or whatever, you know, there can be a camera or something, a video,
Yeah.
whatever is going on. So the ceremony can be fucking broadcasted through that or something. But like,
listen, I'm gonna be my 2 flower girls and my ring bearer, my ceremony's gonna be a fucking shit show with them. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a fun time, you know.
Leo's gonna go immediately to Shar, and he's gonna be standing up there the entire time.
For sure.
We're gonna have the flower girls' moms at the front of the aisle, because they're gonna sit there and they're gonna stand at the back and they're gonna look at each other and be like, "Bitch, what the fuck is this shit?" And so we're gonna have them at the front so they can be like, "Come to mommy."
Yeah.
And like that way we get them down the aisle. I guarantee you they're gonna dump the basket at the very beginning, and that's gonna be that. I'm not even worried about trying to teach them they have to like, you know what I mean? Whatever. I don't even know if I'm gonna give them anything in the basket. I think I'm just gonna give them the basket.
Yeah, it might as well. I mean, just something fun for them, you know.
Exactly.
Make sure it tosses at you during the ceremony, you know.
But it's like,
do you take
actually, I think Leo would sit with my niece and nephew. I think he would. He loves him some Peyton. Okay, are you ready for this? This next one is a long one.
Okay.
So this is on our Am I the Asshole? Would I Be the Asshole public? Am I the asshole for losing my cool with my parents for pushing me to forgive my cheating ex?
Hold up, what? What? Wait, your parents pushed you to forgive your cheating? I'm sorry. Fuck your parents. Fuck your ex.
I'm sorry.
Who tried? Who tries to force somebody to forgive a cheating ex? That is your child, and you try.
Okay, so and let's get into this. Lost my cool with my 27 female parents, 57 female, 59 male for pushing me to forgive my ex. I was to be married in July. 2 months ago, I came home from a work trip to find my ex-fiance in bed with my BFF's sister. I kicked him out, canceled the wedding, warning him I would get rid of his stuff if he didn't come to get it all. Then weeks later, I get it all within weeks later, dumped it all on the curbside with a free sign, sold or donated or dumped everything he gave me and pawned the ring. I blocked him everywhere, called the cops on him when he showed up after I gave all of his stuff away, banging on my door, called them again when he turned up at my workplace and made a scene, and called them on his family when they showed up in masses to plead his case. Is this my story? Did I write this?
Nah, bruh. Nah. I know you didn't write it.
I almost called the cops on him.
Yeah, but I know you didn't write it. Who's showing up in masses, bro? That's her parents, though, right? Or is it his parents?
His parents. His parents.
All right, never mind. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
I didn't.
Okay, but also, hold up. Wait, pause real quick, though. Also, he did not sleep with your BFF's fucking sister. That's what it said, right? BFF sister?
It said BFF sister.
If he slept with any of my sisters, he'd be dead.
That is very true.
Yeah. Unless we're talking about your other BFF, but not the one where you're little. I think you're a little in there.
Which one?
I don't know. It looked like you were with somebody and you were little. I couldn't tell. It like has that whole glare.
Oh, me and my grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah, you look like a.
I'm adorable.
I was gonna hold on. You remember? What I was gonna say was you looked like how Selena Gomez looked when she was in Barney and Friends.
That's honestly the biggest compliment ever. I'm with it.
Honestly, no, for real, that does remind me though of how Selena looked when she was in when Barney and Friends, kind of. Yeah.
I'm a cute kid.
Like I legit, that's what I was like confused. I was like, why do you got a fucking picture of Selena Gomez from Barney up there?
So back to the story.
I forgot we still hadn't finished that.
Okay, so I didn't go scorch earth on ex BFF's sister. I did tell her husband I caught her in bed with my ex. Last I heard, she'd been kicked out from the house and was living back with her parents. Ex BFF tried talking me into giving them both a chance to explain. What? No. Then got angry at me for ruining her sister's relationship, called me petty and cold-hearted, so I kicked her to the curb too. I didn't want dishonest people that are blasé about betrayal in my life. This encounter no doubt simmered under my skin until I unleashed on my parents. Maybe that's the reason, because it lingered, I was so harsh on them. Last week, I met my parents for dinner. I took a date with me to the restaurant, hoping his being there would waylay any discussion about my failed engagement. My parents have been pressuring me into working things out with my ex. He's so sorry. I owe it to him to talk to him. Give him 5 minutes to explain himself. She meant nothing to him. He made a mistake. I'm cruel for shutting him out the way I have. How could I call the police on him? How could I do the same to his family, his parents? They're good people. They don't deserve to be humiliated in that manner. He's having a rough time. He's depressed. Everybody's worried about him. He loves me. Really, he loves me. He's learned his lesson. It's time to grow up and forgive him. No, my date's presence didn't stop them from bringing all of that up. I lost my cool. I asked my father if he expected me to give my ex a pass every time he sticks his dick into anything that moves, like he does.
Whoa, holy shit. So
I asked my mother how turning a blind eye to her husband's infidelity works for her. How does she hold her head up while having lunch with a woman that has slept around with her husband for years?
Yo, what?
Is that the kind of men, the life she wants for me and my sister, her daughters? I asked if they have any idea the impact that knowledge had on me and my siblings growing up. Knowing that dad was late home from work because he was screwing his secretary, knowing work weekend was code for dirty weekend with a woman that was not our mother. Did they not know that why it was did they not know why it was that all of their 4 children, I am the only one that still talks to them? Do they not question why they were not invited to my brother's weddings? Why they never met either of my brother's wives and children? Do they think my sister's silence is because she's being dramatic and throwing a tantrum? Really? I stood from the table congratulating them on their loss of their last remaining child, and I told them I hoped their arrogance, willful blindness, and misery was a comfort to them to their last breaths. Then I left. My date, I should have saved him from a proper date rather than an FU to my parents. Took me to the nearest bar, let me cry on his shoulder while I proclaimed to get shit-faced, then made sure I got home safely. The next day he messaged me to see if I was alive and sent a double cheeseburger, large fries, and a large Sprite over with DoorDash. Oh my god, this dude is amazing.
You need to fucking marry that guy.
Parents, but I haven't heard from them. It's been a week and I've calmed down enough to feel regret. Not for what I said, but because I can see the looks on their faces when I made my final farewell. I crushed them, hurt them, especially my mother. Despite their faults, there are many. I love my parents. I don't like knowing I hurt them. I'm feeling out a lot of guilt about it. Do you want the edits now or after we discuss a little bit?
I'm gonna say after we discuss a little bit, because one, all right, dude, you need to marry that guy, because that dude fucking that's a nice guy right there.
Round of applause for this dude. He took
in all
you to
honesty,
get
I'm not gonna lie,
shit-faced and then got you a burger the next day.
like
fries?
With how fucked up dudes be these days, yo ass, a lot of shit could have happened to you.
Yeah.
And that's some scary stuff. So, one, props to the dude for being good, being a gentleman, taking you home, making sure you were good the next day, getting you nice, good food that you needed to recover from that hangover. Let's be honest.
We love a good king.
2, fuck your parents. God damn. And fucking props to you for standing up for that shit. Cause bruh.
Shit, I probably would have said that shit a lot sooner.
Yeah, bruh. How you gonna be like, hey, you need to forgive and forget what's happened? Bitch, it happens to you. What you mean? You think you happy? You want me to be miserable too? The fuck?
Listen, the clap back this girl did on her parents.
That's crazy.
The clap back was everything it needed to be and more. The tea, the drama. It was giving what it needed to give.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't feel bad.
I wouldn't feel bad either. It needed to be said.
Okay, so I will say, it sounds like she might be a little bit of the pleaser in the family. She's still she's the only one still in communication with her family, but I feel like she's finally standing her ground and finding her voice, and I'm so fucking proud of her for that. I think that she feels regret because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your parents. It's hard to do that and hurt them. But I also think that they needed to hear that as to, you're the reason why you don't have the connections with your kids or your grandchildren. And that's really sad.
But I mean, it needs to be said if they are still confused as to why, that's happening.
No, definitely.
You should already be
confused.
Did
you think that your kids didn't know?
Yeah, it's very easy for the kids to find out,
It's
honestly,
very easy to find out. And
especially when they
honestly,
get to
that
adult.
probably caused your kids a lot of relationship issues in their own lives that they had to work
Hmm.
through.
Yeah,
So, in all reality, you should be glad that your daughter is not going through that same.
especially
Like,
since the fact that like you were trying to convince your daughter to basically be you, like, bitch, why do you want her to go through that life that you already went through? Like, I was gonna
misery
say
loves company.
originally, I was
I
originally gonna
cannot
be
believe
like,
the mom had
that's what
lunch
I'm saying.
with a woman that was actively sleeping with her husband.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, what the fuck? And also, so I was thinking that the reason they were originally, I was thinking the reason that they were wanting her to forgive was because like the dude had like money. So that's the reason I was thinking was like his status and all that shit. That's the reason I'm thinking. I
And
don't know if that's
usually
true.
that is a thing in like richer families, is like it happens type of thing.
Mhm.
This was wild.
Yeah,
This was
that's
wild.
wild, bro.
Okay, so are you ready for the edits?
Yeah, I guess so.
Edit. I have yet to read all the comments, but from what I have seen so far, I think some details need to be cleared up. My date knew we were going to have dinner with my parents. He asked me out that morning. I told him my plans for the evening and jokingly asked if he wanted to come along. I didn't expect him to say yes. Then informed him I wasn't serious, and anyways, it would probably be a little uncomfortable. And he said if needed, he could post bail. So there you go. He did not enter that restaurant unaware of the potential drama. Oh my god, I love this guy so much.
Dude was ready, but
Dude
all right.
was ready.
But honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. That kind of scares me too,
It does.
cause
It
like
does.
he was ready, but like, dude, what you been through? Like,
What trauma you got?
yeah,
What type of girls are you attracted to? How crazy?
like, what's
How
going
crazy do you like
on,
them?
bruh? Why, why are you assuming it's gonna be bail worthy?
Okay, but to be fair, like I make that joke all the time as well of like I don't have bail money, so don't.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna tell. I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm not gonna tell
I've told
my
that to a stranger
date.
before.
Huh?
I've told that to a stranger before.
Nah, fuck that. Like if it's the first time we're going on a date, hell no. I'm not gonna be like, don't worry. I'll post bail if like need be or whatever. Fuck no, I won't. Bitch, no. Cause if it happens, then what? Then what? You said you would post bail. Now you got to. You
Okay.
can't go back on your word.
Edit 2. The people mentioned in my post are not the only people in my life. I have my siblings in my life. They didn't cut me off. My sister flew in to be with me just a few days after I discovered the cheating. And I
Mhm.
have good friends who helped me pick up ex's things, helped me to move it all down to the curb. A friend that found me a guy that paid a fair price for the engagement ring. I only mentioned ex BFF, etc., because how they acted and what they were saying contributed to all those blurred feelings that have been dormant for years coming out when they did and the way that they did.
Mhm. It's understandable. You don't need to post about people that aren't necessary in the drama.
So, OP does comment a little bit. So somebody goes, um, also your date sounds like a good person, regardless of how that turns out. He stood by you and gave you comfort food. That's a big plus in my book.
Mhm.
So they also go on to say so many people say the bigger person, but that's just straight up bullshit. They want you to turn a blind eye to betrayal, but no, some of us find it to be a complete deal breaker.
Mhm.
And OP goes, I could be the bigger person if he got me a burrito instead of the taco I wanted. Cheating in my apartment in my bed, fuck off. Take your filthy ass out the door, other than with the other piece of trash. So basically, if you got her the wrong order, she could be the bigger person there, but cheating is a no. I'm with her on that one.
But
Um, so somebody goes, Could well be that seeing how her mom sees nothing amiss with her partner cheating and how OP seemed to have issues with it, that's why the ex thought there'd be no consequences for him either. I can see how, and OP goes, I could see how people would think that. I didn't talk about it ever with anyone but my sister. Even then, we were both drunk and high when it came up. Of course, others would think I accepted that things were as they were. Of course they would. It's not like anyone asked if I was okay with it. How could they be expected to know I wasn't? I understand that point of view. None of my siblings turned their backs on me when they went no contact with their parents. No worries there, which we already know. Somebody said, girl, the best part of the post was the cheeseburger. Gives us hope for humanity. She goes, that cheeseburger was the perfect breakfast after a real shit night.
Fuck yeah. Bro, you know how many times it'd be like 3 or 4 a.m. I'm like, bro, I really could go for like fucking McDonald's right now.
Bro, if it was like a Checkers
fucking
bacon
Five
cheeseburger
Guys,
with a large fry.
Yeah, bro. I'm just like, dude, if I had Five Guys with their, was it Chesapeake fries?
Yes.
Damn,
yes.
bro. Give me like a double patty with some bacon.
Oh. Orgasmic.
Huh?
Orgasmic.
Oh yeah, bro. Like
it's ooh.
Sometimes when I know I'm gonna be going out drinking, I'm not gonna lie, I will sometimes order like fast food if I know I'm not gonna be like up at a certain time.
I do the same thing.
And I'll just put it in my fridge and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna come home, fucking destroy that shit when I come home.
I did that in college once. Actually, what I did was I got ready, right? And I like actually picked up everything because I knew I was gonna I think it was homecoming weekend. So I knew I was gonna get like shit face. I put all of my clothes. Well, I didn't put them away. I just put them on the floor and like created a path. Then I stacked my bed with a bunch of like drunk snacks and some Gatorade. Ooh, there's a video somewhere on my phone where I'm like, praise sober me because drunk me is living.
Yeah. Bruh, that shit's needed. Like, you gotta fucking
that is self-care at its finest.
Yeah. Like, you gotta do that for yourself, bruh. Like, the only problem though is the fries. They're gonna get soggy. So what you could either do is use an air fryer or put it back in the oven for a few minutes. But when you're that drunk, I don't know if you know how an oven works, in all honesty.
No,
or if you're gonna be
I did chips. I had chips. I had a nice burger.
Yeah.
I had some chips, some Gatorade, and then some candy.
I need fries when I have a burger. Cause like, what do you?
I agree.
Yeah. That's the only problem. It's just being like, honestly, sometimes though, when I'm that drunk, I'm kind of just like, fuck, I don't care if these bitches soggy.
I don't care if the fries are soggy or not.
Yeah, like it's still hitting, you know?
Oh yeah.
But
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
we getting way off topic all the time, bro.
I have a little hiccup. Hold on. But yeah. She's not the asshole. The parents are the asshole. Fuck them.
100%.
Okay. So last one is, off my chest. I cut off my son when I found out I wasn't his father, but now I'm beginning to feel guilty.
Okay, wait, hold. Okay, you cut off your son when you found out you weren't his father. For some reason, when I heard cut off my son, I don't know why, I always immediately am thinking it's the mother. For some reason, when they're talking about my child, you know, for some reason, I always think it's the mother cutting off their children. I'm like, what did they do?
Okay, so I'm going to read this one in a way that you don't know the genders. And then I want you to guess if it was the mom or dad afterwards, okay?
Uh-huh. Well, they said father, though.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm going to do that with one of the next. I'm going to see if I can do that with the next.
Wait, what?
I want to do that. I think it would be fun. I think I'm going to do that with the next
to have me fucking guess if it's the mother or father? Or son or daughter?
No. Like in the next episode, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, got you.
Okay, so throwaway for obvious reasons. I, 40 male, and my wife, 42 female, have one son together, Frank, 18 male. I met my wife through her younger brother, my friend from college. I got her pregnant and found out 5 months before my son was due. Her parents are extremely religious and threatened to cut her out of their lives if we did not get married. Our relationship has always been rocky, but we stayed together for the sake of Frank. As Frank got older, I started to notice his features, how none of them matched mine or my wife's. We both have short noses, whereas my son's always had a particularly long nose. We're both dark haired with darker skin, whereas my son is very blonde with freckles and skin that is so pale it's almost translucent. I wasn't too worried about it, and then I thought I'd always be that way. I knew enough from school to know genes and DNA are funny things and not to stress it. I thought once he got older and grew into his features a bit more, then I might start seeing similarities. But once he reached puberty and the features did not change, I started to become suspicious. Why the fuck does this man not know what a period is? He just keeps doing commas.
He's
This
doing
entire
commas?
paragraph has been one sentence.
I mean, I don't fucking know. Maybe the comma
Anyways,
is right next to the period, so maybe he's messing it up that way. I don't know.
no, because there's a period at the end. And it's not
I
just
don't
this, like
know.
it's this way in every single paragraph. Anyways,
I don't
back to
know.
it.
I don't know his life.
I brought it up with my wife before bed, and she told me that there was no possible way for him to be anyone else's child, as the only person she's ever had sex with was me. I know I know now how stupid I was, but I genuinely believed her at the time. Fast forward a few years later, Frank brought home a girl, and of course, I and my wife did the typical embarrassing family photo album. But as my wife turned through the pages of the book, I noticed a prominent man that kept popping up in the photos was my wife from her college days. He was a spitting image of Frank, and when I tried to get her to turn the pages back, she quickly shut the book and said she had to check on dinner. She clutched onto the book tightly for the rest of the night and refused to make eye contact with me. Of course, my suspicions got the better of me, and while she was asleep that night, I snuck downstairs and grabbed the book from the dresser. I scrolled through the pages and found him, and seeing him more close up was even more striking. His nose, his eyes, his hair, his mouth, his jaw. He was like Frank's doppelganger. That was all one sentence.
Well, I mean, maybe he's got long breaths. I don't know.
Anyways, when I
You
confronted
said
my
that or
wife about
something.
it in the morning, and a screaming match. When I confronted my wife in the morning, a screaming match ensued. Our neighbors ended up calling cops, and I spent the next 2 days in a hotel in town. I asked my wife to meet me for coffee when I gave her an ultimatum. She would either agree to take a paternity test or I would file for divorce. She broke down crying in the middle of the restaurant and confessed that the man in the photos was in fact Frank's biological father and that he wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. She knew her parents would make her get an abortion if she didn't marry his father. And the fact that after university, my degree would help me find a job, gave her enough fuel to baby trap me with a child that wasn't even mine. Understandably, I was mortified and saddened that she would lie to me for all those years. But the worst revelation was that from the age of 14 onwards, Frank knew and kept up the secret with my wife. I called Frank and confronted him about keeping the secret from me. And he told me that he simply didn't want to give up the life we had and the financial stability I gave him and his mom. He was planning on telling me after I paid his college tuition. I blocked his number and filed divorce for my wife a few weeks later. I'm currently at my parents' house while trying to find somewhere temporarily to stay. I've received many angry messages from my wife and my family telling me I'm a horrible person for cutting off Frank, even if he's not my own son. I don't think I'm in the wrong, but I don't have anyone else on my side here, and I'm starting to question if cutting off Frank was maybe too far. What do I do? At first, I was gonna say, like, you're a piece of shit for cutting off Frank because you're the only dad that he knew, and
But
he's not responsible for his mom's decisions.
but at 14 he knew.
But you
And you
knew at
tried to
14.
hide it until he was gonna have you pay off for college? Bruh. That's what? Hell no.
I
They
I
were
like
both looking for money, and that's it.
I wonder how much of that was the mom's influence.
I don't know.
Because like if at 14 she kept telling him like if
Yeah,
you tell him this, like everything's gonna be gone. Everything's gonna be gone. I don't think that everything would have been gone if Frank had gone to him. I think that this man still would have been a father to him.
most likely. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Cause
Like he doesn't seem like a like it seems like he understands fully of like it wasn't Frank's fault, but as soon as he found out that Frank knew,
yeah,
that's a different level of like betrayal.
yeah,
It's one thing of like your wife like baby trapped you and like with a child that isn't yours. It's another thing that like your son like the amount of emotions this man must be going through because he's losing his son, but he's also having to come to terms with his son was never his son, but
yeah.
he's still his son because he raised him. It's when your son, like being a father isn't always about biology.
Mm-mm.
Like he's still this kid's father. And I
Yeah,
think that like, oh, I think they need to sit down and have a conversation because I think there's a lot more to this on Frank's side than
there's a lot of therapy that's gonna be needed for
oh
this
my god,
shit.
there's so much therapy that needs to be done. But
Oh my,
120% divorce the wife. Fuck her.
yeah. That wife needs to go for sure.
Because I
Like,
guarantee you, she fucking fed things into Frank's brain to be like, if
I wouldn't doubt it, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's still a weird situation to be a part of.
oh, it's a very weird situation to be a
Yeah.
part of. I would not want to be a part of that.
Mm-mm.
Not that
Mm-mm.
call. That one was
That was
wild.
wild,
I'm
bro.
not even gonna hold you. I okay. So top comment on this is even though Frank participated in his mom's gift, imagine being 13 or 14 years old and learning your dad isn't your dad. And if you tell the truth, we will be homeless. Not many young children can manage the manipulation from, in this case, a delusional narcissist mom. It's extremely difficult for your kid to understand that their mom isn't who she said she is. It's pre-parental alienation. Also, for Frank, maybe give yourself some time to settle down after the divorce is finalized. Maybe reach out or don't. How you feel matters, and maybe some initial time apart will help send the message to those who need to hear it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Likely another person goes, likely Frank was manipulated by his mother to say the type of stuff. My mom led me to believe a ton of lies about my dad, and I really wasn't able to form my own opinions until I was a full grown adult in my 20s. I realize now that my mom was wrong and my dad was right, but it took years of growing for me to form my own to gain my own form of thinking. An 18-year-old is just doing and saying what his mom is telling him. Frank will realize when he's older who his mom really is, but you should at least be there for him emotionally, if not financially. I agree with that. Like it sucks. I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't suck, but
Why abandon the kid that you have or
yeah.
that you thought you had?
Yeah.
Like,
So
you were treating him like he was your son already, so what's the harm in not or in continuing to treat him like that?
OP goes, somebody goes, I'm seeing too many of these lately. This is particularly bad and boring fiction. Also, you don't scroll through a book, you flip through it. A man who's in his 40s would know this. OP goes, you can indeed scroll through a book, my friend. There's not a set term for how you can or cannot refer to turning a page of a book, but thanks for your unhelpful advice.
Mm-hmm.
And then OP also says, um, so I can't. Hold on.
Imagine showing my elf ear.
So the person deleted their comment, but OP responds and goes, yes, that was what he told me at least. And no, to what I'm aware of, he's never met or spoken to his bio dad. I'm not even sure that what his name is. My ex won't speak of him until she has a lawyer.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what that's.
Oh, so the question was, what was Frank's plan? Go to get school paid for, then tell you he's been in contact with his bio. Has he been in contact with his bio father? Are you seeing a therapist? I genuinely, the mom's a piece of shit.
100%.
The mom manipulated the son, and I will say, until you are in like your mid-20s and you've been in college for like at least a solid year and a half, you're not really gonna like get away from your parents' grip until then. Like your parents still have a lot of like I hate the idea that at 18 you have to like decide your life and you're an adult and you can't do all of this and you can't rely on your parents anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Like you're still a child. Your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25.
No, yeah.
Why are you supposed to like be deciding your entire life career then?
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense. Like I've changed what I've wanted to do so many times.
So many times.
Like, I mean, originally when I was like in high school, I was like, you know what? I want to be an architect. And then I wanted to be like, I kind of want to do graphic design work. And then cybersecurity. And now I'm just like.
And you wanted to be a tattoo artist at one point.
Yeah, I did want to be a tattoo artist. You're right. It was a tattoo artist before graphic design artist. Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would still like to do all that shit. It's just I don't got time for all that. So,
listen, I wish that you became a tattoo artist because then I wouldn't have to pay that much for tattoos.
Who the fuck said that? The fuck? You think I'm giving you a discount? No, I'm charging you extra. No, I'm just joking.
How dare you?
Excuse me. I gotta make money. I'll give you a $5 discount.
Wow, thanks.
Hey, it's cheaper than most places.
Hopefully I will try to put the links for all of these stories in the description.
The hell just happened? What just happened?
What the fuck just happened?
I don't know. What just happened to you?
What just happened to you?
On my end, you were the one that was like glitched.
On my end, you were sitting there like this.
Oh yeah.
And you were just like staring and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I want you to know what you look like on mine. You ain't hold on.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I wonder, you know what? I wonder if it's going to do both of it in the recording or not.
Yeah, you went.
Ew. Ew. Okay. Anyways, this is the end of episode 13 of You're Being Too Loud. Please catch us again next Wednesday. We post every Wednesday at 12.
Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe, right? Is that what it is?